Tomatoes are a staple in many gardens, but growing them can be tricky. With the right tips and tricks, you can grow an abundance of tomatoes that will keep you and your family stocked up all season long. In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know to grow healthy, delicious tomatoes. Tip 1. Start with the right soil. Tomatoes need well-draining soil that's rich in nutrients. Before planting, mix in some compost or aged manure to give your soil a boost. It's also important to make sure your soil has a pH between 6.0 and 6.8, which is ideal for tomato growth. Consider having your soil tested to determine its pH level. Tip 2. Choose the right variety. There are countless tomato varieties to choose from, but not all of them are suited to your growing conditions. Consider factors like your climate, the length of your growing season, and the amount of sunlight your garden gets. Some popular varieties for beginners include Roma, cherry, and beefsteak. Research the different varieties and choose the ones that will thrive in your garden. Tip 3. Planting your tomatoes. Tomatoes can be planted in the ground or in containers. If planting in the ground, dig a hole that's twice the size of the root ball and add a handful of fertilizer. If planting in a container, choose a pot that's at least 18 inches in diameter and fill it with potting soil. Plant your tomato seedlings, burying them up to the first set of leaves. Tip 4. Provide adequate watering. Tomatoes need consistent watering to grow and produce fruit. Aim to water your plants deeply once a week, and more frequently during hot, dry weather. Avoid getting water on the leaves as this can lead to disease. Consider using a soaker hose or drip irrigation system to water your plants. Tip 5. Support your plants. Tomato plants can get heavy once they start producing fruit, so it's important to provide support. Use stakes, cages, or trellises to keep your plants upright and prevent them from falling over. Consider the height of the tomato plant when choosing a support system. Tip 6. Prune your plants. Pruning your tomato plants can help them focus their energy on producing fruit. Remove the suckers that grow in the crotch of the plant and any leaves that are touching the ground. This will improve air circulation and reduce the risk of disease. Consider using sharp pruning shears to make clean cuts. Tip 7. Fertilize your plants. Tomatoes are heavy feeders and require regular fertilization. Use a balanced fertilizer that's high in phosphorus, which promotes fruit development. Apply fertilizer every 4-6 weeks or as directed on the package. Consider using organic fertilizers like compost or fish emulsion. Tip 8. Deal with common problems. Tomatoes can be susceptible to a variety of problems, including pests, diseases, and environmental stress. Keep an eye out for signs of trouble, such as yellowing leaves, wilting plants, or holes in the fruit. If you spot a problem, take action right away to prevent it from spreading. Consider using natural pest control methods, like companion planting or introducing beneficial insects. Tip 9. Harvest regularly. Tomatoes are ready to harvest when they're fully ripe and firm to the touch. Don't wait too long to pick them, or they may become overripe and split open. Harvest your tomatoes regularly to encourage more fruit growth. Consider using a sharp knife or pruning shears to avoid damaging the plant. Tip 10. Storing your tomatoes. Tomatoes can be stored at room temperature, but they'll last longer if stored in a cool, dry place. Avoid storing tomatoes in the refrigerator, as this can cause them to lose flavor and texture. Consider canning, freezing, or drying your excess tomatoes for later use. Tip 11. Mulch your tomato plants. Mulching is beneficial for tomato plants as it helps retain moisture in the soil, suppresses weed growth, and regulates soil temperature. Apply a layer of organic mulch, such as straw, wood chips, or dried leaves, around the base of your tomato plants. This will help conserve moisture, prevent soil erosion, and create a favorable environment for root development. Tip 12. Rotate tomato planting locations. To prevent the buildup of pests and diseases in the soil, it's important to practice crop rotation with your tomato plants. Avoid planting tomatoes in the same location every year. Instead, rotate their planting location with other crops from different plant families, such as legumes or leafy greens. This helps break the pest and disease cycle and promotes healthier tomato plants. By following these tips and tricks, you can grow an abundance of delicious tomatoes that will keep you and your family stocked up all season long. Happy gardening!